Today, I thought I'd share with you some of the experience that I've earned since running many different businesses. And that business background has shown me to avoid a big mistake that a lot of people are making right now, that our governments are making right now, and that our economy in general is making right now. And that big mistake is basically saving ourselves to death. When you save money in order to stay afloat, you're actually just taking buckets of water out of the sinking ship. It doesn't stop the ship from going under. All it does is maybe slow down the process. But when a business is in the action of trying to save money in order to generate profit, they're actually in the process of failing. And this can be applied to what you need to do as an individual. This can be applied to what our government should be doing. This could be applied to just about everything happening right now in the world. But unfortunately, a lot of people make this mistake, especially new small business owners. And what's nice about this whole conversation is that we can take these different lessons that have been learned over the years and apply them to our own preparedness. Now look, I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not telling you what to do with your money or anything along those lines. So don't go thinking that's what I'm trying to do right here. What I'm trying to do is share with you some information about what I've learned throughout my background and try to give you some ideas about how to approach the coming scenarios that we're all being faced with, inflation and the rising cost of living. So listen how this works. When you are in a business, you start seeing your profit margins decimated, right? You start seeing that red line more and more and more. And you start to think, man, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get back to being profitable? We need to be in the green. Otherwise, our business is going to fail. And so the mistake a lot of companies and a lot of people make is that they start trying to cut corners, or they start trying to save money, right? So, oh, well, how do we get a cheaper product so we can sell it for the same price but be more profitable? Or how do we pay people less money to do the same type of labor? Or how do we save money in general, right? And saving money is a fail strategy. It's not a strategy to win. It's not a strategy to succeed. It's a failing strategy because of the fact that by saving that money, you're just slowing down the process of becoming a failure. And I don't know how else to put it, but that's just how things work in the business world. And that's one thing that I'm decently educated on because I've ran multiple different businesses. And I can tell you that this is a huge strategy you see people take when they don't know what else to do. And it hurts small business owners all the time. And you see those small businesses going under from these exact type of practices. Now, businesses that want to survive and have to figure out ways to adapt to a new environment and have to figure out ways to become more profitable, understand that there is only one real answer to that solution, and that's to increase your revenue, to increase your income as an individual, to increase your sales. You have to keep moving that needle forward in order to basically absorb all the additional costs of doing business in this new environment. And unfortunately, a lot of people succumb to the idea that saving money or cutting corners or lowering costs is going to get them through that tumultuous period. But in many, many ways and in many times, that doesn't work. And in fact, they still hit rock bottom eventually. Maybe they lasted a little bit longer than they would have otherwise, but most people from an outside perspective, if they were doing, let's just say, some type of financial audit, would have looked at that business and said, this business is literally failing and we should shut it down right now and stop hemorrhaging any more money. But unfortunately, obviously, especially as individuals and preppers, we can't just decide to just shut down and stop doing things, right? So it's very imperative right now that we approach things as if we're coming from a business mindset. How do you maintain profitability? And as an individual, you have to look at that in the sense of disposable income, right? Because that's basically what profits are. They're money you no longer need to keep the business running so that you have additional cash at this point in time. How do you retain some of your money at the end of the day rather than having to spend every single dollar that you earn? And our own government's guilty of this too. Look what they're doing in the sense of green energy, right? We're trying to save on energy in order to sustain our situation. That's a failing strategy. And that's why everybody is eventually going to have very bad resource woes. We're not going to have the energy we need to survive in our modern society the way that we're accustomed to right now. And it's all because of the same exact mindset and strategy that never works in the long run, right? So you see California right now saying, oh, don't charge your electric vehicles. We need to conserve energy. We need to save energy so that everybody has enough. Huge failing strategy. All that does is buy time, right? But in reality, what they need to do is expand energy. They need to grow how much energy is available. They need to have access to more energy. And in fact, of course, that would mean needing more coal, needing more oil, all the resources we know actually are efficient enough to keep people up and running. But unfortunately, California is working with a dogma that doesn't allow them to do that. So instead of growing their energy base and actually being able to provide the amount of energy necessary to the constituents they have, they're going to conserve energy instead, which will eventually lead to people not having any power. And that's the exact same equation that it works with when we talk about finances, when we talk about preps, when it comes to everything right now in this current economy. So understand that we're saving ourselves to death. I'm not telling you to spend all your money. I'm not telling you not to save money. I'm not telling you to do anything with your money because, like I said before, I'm not a financial advisor. But what I'm trying to let you know is that this strategy always fails when it comes to business. And you should keep that in mind when you're thinking about how you're going to approach this coming storm of hyperinflation and everything else that we're trying to avoid here, but we're obviously seeing on the horizon. And in my opinion, one of the things I'm going to have to do is increase my revenue in order to deal with the new cost of living, with the new demand that is going to be put on me in order to provide my family with a comfortable life. I'm not going to be able to do that by trying to cut back costs. I'm not going to be able to do that by saving a little bit more at the grocery store, right? How am I saving more? I can't buy as much as I used to for the same amount of money. How am I going to save more by doing that, right? I can't save more money by not doing things because then nothing's getting done, right? Okay, so let's just stop prepping because that's money that I have to spend or that's time or energy I have to spend. Great, but now where are you at? You're no longer preparing, you no longer have any more resources you're putting aside, you're no longer moving forward in your preparedness, so you're just hoping that things get better so you can get back to prepping. That's not how prepping works. We're trying to prepare for things to get worse and hope that they get better, right? So here we are in a situation where saving everything isn't going to necessarily help us. We have to get more resources. We have to get more energy. We have to get more income. We have to get more everything. That's just how this is going to work when we want to combat the current environment that we're being thrust into. And you have to figure out how to do that on your own. I don't necessarily know the answer for you. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, and I'm just trying to be honest with you all here because I appreciate you, and this is a conversation I think we all needed to have because you're going to see a lot of people right now, based on inflation, based on the cost of living and everything happening in the world, try to explain to you how to be poor, basically, or how to be broke. Okay, oh, well, here's how you can live off $1 a day, or here's how you don't have to pay for an electric bill, or you don't have to pay this. And that's all great if you want to use it as a way to reestablish yourself or to put yourself in a situation where your overhead is very limited, which I think is always a good idea. But at the end of the day, the only real way to get out of this thing in a successful manner and to still continue forward in your progression when it comes to your life, your career, your home life, everything else related to what we're trying to do here, you have to increase your capability, okay? Decreasing it is only going to do that. It's going to decrease everything that you're able to do because we're not being able to keep up with the inflation and everything else. So increasing really is the only way to really approach the situation at hand. I'm going to keep prepping, but in order to keep prepping, I have to increase my income or I have to increase my time or increase my energy in order to do it because otherwise I can't keep up. So in all honesty, some of the things you'll see here on the channel in the future, I will probably have some advertisements. I'll probably work with some other companies, maybe some sponsorships. I don't know. But you know what? It's my responsibility to my family to try my best to keep us moving forward, not only in our preparedness, but in the quality of life for my children and my wife and everyone else who supports what I do here. It's my job as a father and a husband to support them in what it is that they want out of their lives too. So I'm going to do what I have to do to try to make things a little bit easier moving forward. But I honestly don't think the whole saving every cent or trying to cut corners at every single turn of the way is the right approach at this point. You have to do what you can to move forward. Increase everything. Your resources are what you have, and resources are all the things combined. Time, money, energy, even your physicality, right? Everything's a resource. If you play Magic the Gathering, you know, life is a resource. Well, that makes sense right now based on what's happening in the world, right? So I wanted to bring this to your attention because, like I said, I've ran some businesses. I know some things when it comes to that department, probably better than I do a lot of stuff related to prepping because you know what? A lot of what got me into the position I'm in now was being able to run businesses, okay? So by doing that, I can now share this information with you and say, look, every time a business has started trying to save money in order to survive, they eventually close the doors. And I don't want you to have to close the doors. So I just wanted to bring this information out there, give you something to think about, and I'm just trying to help the community because honestly, that's what we all need to be doing right now. Come together, help each other out, Any advice or suggestions you have, it's always welcome. Look, we don't have to listen to everything everybody says, but options are important when it comes to preparedness, right? We need to be able to adapt to survive. And if you're not willing to have additional options, or you're limiting your options on purpose just because of stubbornness or whatever else it is, well, you're going to have less options to work with when things go south. And all I'm trying to do is keep my options as open as possible. So anything else you want to add, leave it in the comments below. I mean, these are the things we're trying to do. And if you guys want to hang out over on Patreon, it's $5 a month. I changed some stuff over there, but we're doing some cool things over there that will actually maybe help some of you that maybe can't get some of the things or some of the stuff that you're looking for right now due to the cost increases and everything else related to it. Well, we're trying to do like a community give back kind of support program over there on Patreon too. So there are some cool benefits that I'm trying to put together to try to help everybody as well, because I wouldn't be in the position I'm in without all of you. So I'm doing what I can to try to keep that going in the sense of giving back when I can. So I appreciate every single one of you. And if you have anything else for me, magicprepper.com is always a good option. And that's going to be it for Magic Prepper.